che comunque il calcio è imprevedibile e le cose non sono mai scontate, quindi è anche la bellezza, no, di questo sport.
Io rappresentavo per questa squadra, era quello che non mollava mai, quello che doveva fare stare sempre su il morale, ma io mi ci trovavo bene perché sono sempre stato uno che mi piaceva dare fuoco ai miei compagni, caricarli prima delle partite.
Il mio sogno si è avverato, è uno dei sogni dei bambini, di tanti bambini.
È un qualcosa per la gente che riusciamo a fare diventare matti, riusciamo a fare diventare felici e contenti.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me just put this into this mode for now, for the time being. Good morning to wherever you are in whatever time zone, and good evening from me according to Malaysian time. And the reason why I say that is because yes, I have to apologize big time that we're very late. We should have started about 33 minutes ago. On me, my bad. I apologize to everyone who's been waiting, particularly in the chat. And on that, we'll just plug the chat a little bit. Whoever wants to join our WhatsApp group, do DM us. But as always, here with the best co-host that you could ever hope for on the podcast. So we have Mr. Shane in the house. So Shane, it's been a while. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just trying not to fuck up Restream. It's been a while since I've actually used it, so I'm just trying to figure out where all the options are and how to hide stuff, which is coincidentally why we've only just started the podcast and I've already had a technical fuck up. So apologies, guys. But yeah, how you been, man? You all right this week?
Yeah, it's been all right. There's some medical issues aside, but yeah, I've been okay. Better maybe than the club has been. If I consider as bad as I can be, the club's probably doing much worse.
It's all right.
So maybe
Milan will probably try and sign you anyway, Hosni, because basically they're so lacking now in scouting and all of that jazz that they're basically trying to get in crippled players and trying to force through a transfer when the player can't walk. So medical issues aside, that doesn't concern Milan in 2025, man.
Yeah, that's true. And but I would put money on myself to actually pass the medical. Maybe if you talk about the transfer business, I wouldn't make that. But when it comes to medical, as bad as my health has been for the past few weeks, I could probably pass that, And that being said, and I guess we'll talk about that a lot more later. The bar for passing a medical at this club is not at all high. You could be in the Paralympic squad and still make them pass a medical. And I'm sorry if that's a bit offensive, but it's true. I mean, for you to fail it, I think there's only been one other case that I can remember. I don't remember who it is, but I know there's been one other case, recent case where the guy has not passed the medical. Those in the chat, and we'll read out your names in a bit. You can probably say who it is, but Mr. Boniface, I don't know how you pronounce your name. Yeah, it's probably one of the highlights or lowlights, depending how you look at it. We're going to talk about later in this part.
All right. So do you want to get cracking?
Sure. And but before that, just big shout out. Who do we have here? We have Fardino. Thanks for waiting. Thanks for joining. Angelo, hello, welcome. Kashavit, and we have Max. So hello everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Alice Sissoko. Yeah, that was a while. Dodgy teeth. Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange how. I mean, you can see why dodgy teeth would be an issue, right? Because I mean, if
can't smile for the cameras.
No, but like it can affect a lot, right? Because if you don't, like, let's say for instance, if there's like advanced decay there, right? The studies now that basically have linked it to like severe heart disease later on down the line. So if you have like, yeah, it's a serious thing. So basically,
I just thought that he needed braces or something like that in the club. Maybe he didn't have it in the medical plan.
I don't know. I can't remember what the story was, but yeah. In Milan, though, we're just anything to try and get this fucking dodgy transfer through the door. It's like, oh fuck! Can't pretend you love Cardinale. I don't know. It's hard. I'll find a way. I will find a way.
I think we'll probably step away from just, instead of signing players, maybe we just sign models, We just got to sell the jerseys, right? Who cares about the game anymore? Let's just sell jerseys. Maybe
Yeah, but
that's what this club is about.
Yeah, but that's so like despite the Curva not being allowed into the games, they're still selling a vast amount of tickets, right? But the thing is,
Yeah.
is that's literally Modric. But the thing is, Modric or anyone else, right, won't, that's not going to sell tickets when we're like 8th or 10th in the Serie A going into December. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe they're taking a chance on the first few games, make it look good for Cardinale to switch us off the telly.
Pretty much.
Just to show him, yeah, look at the attendance. Then when he focuses on looks at something else, then we go back to the way things were.
Our producer has spoken. So Fahadinho is indeed our producer. That's for anyone that's wondering. So he keeps us in time.
Okay, so let's get back in line.
All right. Shit. I hope you can't hear that in the background. My oven is sizzling for some reason. Anyway, not to stress. If it explodes and my camera goes black, you know what's happened. Just know I died doing what I love, talking about this piece of shit football club. All right. So onto the Bari game, Husney. So basically, when you finish in the doldrums in Serie A, right, you have to go through the shame of having to qualify for the Coppa Italia, which is essentially what we to do. So bit of a sad story though on the lineup to this. There was one of the Bari players, his 1-year-old son basically passed away only like 10 days before the game. And for that reason, I've no shame in saying it. I wanted Bari to win because it means more to him than, the pieces of shit players that we have on our team these days. Unfortunately, it didn't happen though. So we had 2 goals. We had Leao in the 14th minute and Pulisic in the 48th minute. It's pretty much what you would expect against the Serie B side, though, would you not, Husney?
Yeah, that's true. And catching the replay of the game because, as maybe I'll dive a topic later, but I have to catch the replay because it's at a time when it doesn't really meet my schedule. But so those goals, we feel quite a strong lineup. I think no one can deny that. It was expected to win, and we did win. And just to put into context for those who are watching and don't recall really where Bari have been recently, Serie B finished in 9th place. So 8th place Serie A versus 9th place Serie B. What do you expect? 2-0. What a win. What a win.
It's interesting, really, because it's kind of Milan playing themselves in a decade if Redbird stays in control of the club. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so we're playing someone that's close to our level. You're right.
Yeah. I see the way I see Mr. Universe. I see what you're telling us, right? It's like, okay. Fuck.
Get used to it. Get used to these games.
Oh no. I've often thought back to it, Husney, right? And I reckon when was last Champions League? 07.
Yeah. The one we actually won, yeah.
I've often thought back to how much of a shithead I was when I was a kid, right? And I've thought back to 2007 and what the fuck did I do wrong that year? But 2007, I was actually quite a good young Catholic, right? So I never really did anything wrong. So I think just God is angry at me for some reason that's out of my control for that year. But ever since then, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Do you know what I mean? I must have done something, man, because I don't deserve this game anymore.
Not just you, but it seems that every Milan supporter, and I think I've said this before, is that Berlusconi, when we were really tearing things up, he pissed off so many people. He had such a big target on his back. The entire league, all other 19 teams, well, maybe since last season, 18 teams, because you've got to admit, Monza's been backing us up quite a bit, have been pretty much on our case. So everyone's waiting for us to fall. Fall in the sense that essentially where we are now. So whatever curse has been put on this club, it's worked. You wouldn't wish Cardinale to be the owner of anything that you love or care about, but it's happened to us.
I wouldn't wish it on Milan fans to have Cardinale in charge of the club. Oh wait, it's happened. It's like fucking. Oh no. I'm trying to be positive. Great guy. Forza cheeseburgers, all that shit. Anyway, yeah, so that was the Barry game. And of course, in typical, you know the way, right? I think there's kind of a collective retardation that's happened, right? And you know before, right? So back, let's say in 2007, right, before social media was as big as it is now, right? Every village used to have a fucking idiot, right? So every village used to have an idiot, right? And you know this person is probably intellectually challenged, right? Somewhere, you know, on the scale, right? Just retarded, basically, right? And what you do is you'd know that, you know, he'd be saying shit to you, and you know, you'd just be kind of going, ah, yeah, you know, just trying to, you know, pass the day. But unfortunately, after 07, what's happened is stuff like X and Twitter has become a thing. So now that village idiot retard, right, can actually spout his bullshit online. And I think collectively what this is, right? So when I see some of the responses to the Barry result that we're basically going to go on and win the Serie A, that's the evolution of the village retard, basically, that somehow managed to work out how to create an X account. And this is the damage that we're seeing, man. It's fucking tragic. Did you see some of it? It was basically glazing.
I did, but just to put it out there, and many people know that these are also the same goons. I'm sorry to use that term, same goons who are
Retards.
hyping up the squad before the start of last season. So it's the same people, and it's not so much of a goldfish memory, but it seems to be like you just change a little bit here and there, then it seems that the slate is clean. So yeah, everyone wants the best. Yeah, so everyone wants to be wrong. I think I speak for a lot of people in our chat say that we want to be wrong in the sense that this club all of a sudden like becomes the wonder club and we're back into the glory days. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. But for a select number of people, I mean, I can't say talk about substances of the channel apparently because we're gonna get like some strikes or not. But there was some good stuff, and it seems to be before the season starts. There's a sale where they buy all their good stuff, which they then snort or inject or whatever it is.
Well, it's the levels of copium, though, Hosni. Do you realize it's literally the levels of copium. So it's how you know that we're a nothing club nowadays, right? Because you literally get like proposed fans of the club, right? And what they talk about is they can't talk about anything resembling success on the pitch, right? So they try and latch on to shit, right? That's not really relevant to what a fan should be looking for in a football club. They start latching on to shit like balance sheets and like how great the accounts are looking, right? And they start talking about transfers, right, as if it was their own fucking money.
Yeah. But not only that, I mean, hyping up players that you've never heard of.
I had to look at, right, I had to look at transfermarket.com, right? Because literally I'm so checked out on this club, outside of like the likes of Modric and shit like that, right? I can't remember who we'd signed.
Yeah.
Because they're literally irrelevant players. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
But let's rewind the clock a little bit. So we've had a few disasters. I think maybe last season was the biggest disaster in recent memory for me in terms of signing, where whoever we got, we want everyone out. It didn't even take a full season. It was like 2 or 3 months in, we want this guy to go, and even the management, although they will never admit it, they want this guy to go as well. So it's ridiculous. And we feel the cycle happening again. Maybe they think, and this is the con that's being played on by the management or ownership of this club, that if you don't remember their name, maybe it's easier to let them go. Like, you just deny that, we didn't sign anyone who sounds like that. Keep the press conference very short. Maybe, and this is a big maybe here, maybe in the future, we won't be printing the names on the backs of the shirts. There's a league, I think. I don't know whether I don't think it's the Bundesliga. There's a league where they don't print the names on the back of the shirts, and I think we're heading in that direction, by the way, with this transfer market. That will make these players so forgettable.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah. You just print the numbers, no names. I don't know in the chat.
That
Maybe you guys.
that
I've seen
kind
such
of
leagues.
level of awesomeness, right, would only be in the Bundesliga because the Germans are very forward thinking when it comes to stuff like that. Because you can see why they do that, right?
I
'Cause
can't imagine why. I mean, commercially, you would charge an extra, like what, €5 just to print a few letters on the back of a
yeah,
jersey.
but like if you think about the upside, right, what you have then is you don't have like the big players like the likes of Milan that are whoring out a Giroud goalkeeper jersey, limited edition
Yeah.
because he had to stand in goal that time. It stops all that kind of bullshit business.
On that note, what would be interesting is that maybe they should implement a rule where you had to serve a minimum number of years in the club before you get the name on the jersey. How about that?
Wait,
Then maybe in a few months we only see like Leao's name, Mike, Pulisic. Everyone else is like nameless, ready to be shipped out.
it is. So just 2 points, right? I can't comment how I want to comment on this, but I'll just mention the comment. Is that a Balkan forehead I see in the background of the photo from Catch You Beat? It is. Right? MLM podcast, Max. We need to sign the centre backs to Cats on number 69. We already have him. Man. We already have him. He both can't do his primary job, but he can go up the other end and do great things, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But we already have him, man. It's a dream come true. Fuck me, I hate this club now. And what the thing is, right? I was because Hosni, right? I don't want to be because again, being the head of toxic positivity, right? I always like being deluded in happiness, right? And stuff like that, right? And having shit takes, right? But I've tried to kind of understand the reasons why I don't like Musa and Pavlovic, right? Because I'm not this kind of person that I want to be proven wrong when it comes to players. It's like you said earlier, I want to be proven wrong by Redbird that everything that we said is bullshit. Right? It'll never happen. But I would love for that to happen, right? Because then it's a learning experience for me. But I've thought about it, and you know what it is with Musa and Pavlovic, right? They're just shit footballers. That's the thing. They're just shit, right? And it's like the way I look at it is because I hate any form of shittiness, right? If I go to like a McDonald's or a Burger King, right, and I get a fucking I don't know a Big Mac or a Whopper, right? You're damn right. I want that to be a good fucking because I paid for it, right? And if it's not good, it just fucking annoys me.
Well, when you show up to the McDonald's, you'll see Sergino Dest there because he's that's his job. And who's sitting next to you in the McDonald's is going to be Junior Messias,
Yeah.
the guy you could see in McDonald's.
To be fair, Messias is better than Chukwueze.
Yeah. I won't deny that in terms of his output. I mean, this is the thing where you got a player like, not to say unknown. Okay, fine, a little bit known. If you ask me, compared to Chukwueze. But his story, it's a real how would you call it? The underdog story, yeah. And
Messias, yeah, I always enjoyed that about Messias, dude, and I didn't like the slander that they got thrown away. Messi is sometimes, right? Because you see, an awful lot of what people used to say was like, he came from this background of, he was delivering fridges, right, and stuff like that, right? But the thing is I was raised differently, and I have a good job and a good career, right? I won't talk about doing mock because it's personal stuff. But I have a good job and a good career, right? But my dad's a truck driver, right? So it's not flashy, it's functional. So I'd never ever mock another person about his job. But like an awful lot of people like seem to get on this moral high horse about saying, well, he used to deliver fridges. He was working.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
part-time.
He was like,
and he's the big thing, Shane. When we wanted to sell him, there were clubs who wanted to buy him. Compare that with the other players that we have still loitering on our team sheet. Put them in the shop window. No one wants to touch them.
100%. So defensive dynamo in second. It's getting worse. Redbird, hi Nico. Redbird had a chance to admit to their past mistakes, and instead everyone is still here in same operations. See, this is also the problem as well, right? Because again, it's like just going back to my analogy about if I go to McDonald's or go to Burger King, right? I just, I want a good burger, right? But the thing is that burger is made in a shit way, right? It just annoys me. So and if it's consistently happening where the person that's making the burger, for example, is just shit, right, and they're kind of doing it out of just malice at some point, right, then you just fire the person. It's like, why the fuck hasn't, like, Furlani is not capable of doing his job. Everyone under Furlani is not capable, but the thing is it's like, if you're trying to kill the fucking snake, you go for the head first, right? Because that's the dangerous part. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, in this case, they've allowed Ferlani to hire a fall guy, essentially. They put this all on Tari's head, knowing that even Tari can't pull this off. Watch it collapse, and Ferlani will say, no, it's not me this time. It's not me. I'm still keeping my job. But what do we do?
Also, Max, fact, that's just about the messiest thing and why he was getting slander from certain people. I completely agree. But an awful lot of people are giving him slander like that. It's like you can never, you can never, not to turn this into a fucking point of view podcast, but you can never ever mock someone that's working if they're doing a job. It's not how it works. You can mock people who don't work, and you should actively, unless they're, medically infirm or something like that. But if they decide not to work, then mock the shit out of them. But someone that's doing a job, you should never really do that. Okay. Right. Back to where we were, Hosni, before I tried to right all the world's wrongs. Right.
Yeah. So, this was, you could say, the last game. I mean, would you call this the last game of the preseason? I would, to be honest, yeah. So the win against Bari was the last game of the preseason. And as everyone knows, I don't need to say this, it's definitely not my idea. Whenever we have a good preseason, it's absolute shit when the real season hits. We need to have a real bad preseason. Then this team wakes up. And I go all the way back to the time where we won the Scudetto in that preseason. I remember it was an absolute disaster. We drew against I can't remember. I think we played in the States or somewhere like that in the preseason. But yeah, I don't see how us performing in preseason has any bearing about how the actual games that matter works out for us. So
just to go back,
I mean,
this is a fucking valid point as well from Nico, right? Let's not forget the guy running the Futura, Kirovsky, is still here. Now the Futura is in Serie D. Players like Kubis and Vots want to leave. And this is, the way some fucking companies, right, they just work like this, where, because we've all had it, right, in any career, right? We've all had a great manager, right, where that manager will let you work to the best of your abilities, right? But then you have a shit manager, right, who just who exists to make your life more complicated and they're just awful at their job. That's Kirovsky, right? But the thing is when you bring, it's literally like Cardinale has chosen these favorites. For some reason, Ibrahimovic has power over the Serie D thing, which again, not a good move. But Kirovsky's still there. There's no one getting punished for mistakes. Furlani won't get punished, though, and the reason why he won't get fucking punished, right, is because of Max's comment, right? Because they've made 200 million. Because that, at the end of the day, that's all Elliot gives a shit about, and that's all Redbird gives a shit about. It's it's the 200 million, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but okay, let's look at this Futuro, yeah, and just even the name of the Futuro, the fact that we're in Serie D, it's what was the English term for it? I know. Okay, I'm just going to say it as it is. It's absolute dumps. So the name of the team being in Serie D can't get any worse than it is. But this Kirovsky guy, he doesn't have a choice. He's not like Abate. Abate, the moment he leaves, someone else will say that, okay, I got a job for you, right? Yeah. Can you imagine what Kirovsky is going to do? And say that, I have a bit of dignity. I'm going to take my talents or whatever skills that I have elsewhere. No one's going to hire him. Everyone knows he's a fraud. But that's the thing. It seems to be like a greater conspiracy at play that Kirovsky has something on Ibra, or maybe there's some sort of buddy groups that like serving each other's debts in
It's
some other
just,
way.
it's the buddy system, right? It's kind of like, well, if I'm not getting heat for it, you can stay. You know what I mean? And this is the unfortunate fact of it. Like, and I think, did Moncada come out? If it wasn't Moncada, it might have been Ibra, but I'm sure it was Moncada that essentially came out and said, well, it doesn't matter if they're playing in Serie D, they're still playing. But the thing is
Yeah.
that's a very slippery slope, my friend, because when you start thinking about that, like, then it doesn't matter if the first team fails like it has been for the last couple of years, right? Because they're still playing.
But what part of Moncada's statements in saying that helps to support their so-called aim of being a sustainable club? Can you keep saying that and in the same breath claim that, yeah, I'm running this club sustainably? Trying to save money here, waste money there. What's going on? What is then the mission?
Yeah, but Hosni, right? The thing is like, because we know what we have now with Redbird, right? And Elliot. And the thing is because I'm so balls deep in copium at this moment in time, right? Because to be honest, I'm I think I said it on Rossoneri TV chat earlier on today. Shout out to Roy and all the guys on Rossoneri TV who talk a lot of common sense, and a lot of people. If you're watching this, like, subscribe, listen to them. They speak the truth quite a lot of the time. So thing is, I was saying it on the chat over there because I got involved in a chat, right? And it was kind of like, the only thing keeping me watching this club at the moment is because of loyalty to this channel and loyalty to you and the guys? Because I don't want to watch the club anymore. Do you see what I mean? Because there's nothing. Like, it's kind of like, if you're in a failing relationship, right? You can get a bit deep here, right? But like, when you're in a failing relationship and it's like you know yourself, right? It's like you've done everything you can possibly do, right, to help the other person or to help the relationship survive, but it's just not working. Do you know what I mean? This is the thing with the club. It's the same feeling I have. It's kind of we know that it won't get any better. And what makes it also extra hard for me is the fact that we also have a lot of deluded fans that seem to jump on any sign of purported success, right? And then you're just kind of going, that's exhausting as well, because when you're like, the only thing worse than dealing with someone who's, let's say, wrong is if they're, despite being the head of toxic positivity, if someone's like toxic positive, right? It, like, that's draining, and that's not to say that we want to be negative, but the fact that someone's toxic positive, it's like, that's also draining, because the way it's not coming from a place of authenticity, because there's nothing to be too positive about with this club.
Yeah,
like,
I think just to echo what you said, and this is something that I did say, these my own words from beginning of last season, was that, at this point, it's not about the club anymore. It's about the fans, it's about the people, it's about the camaraderie, what we have in terms of the group. I agree. And maybe another way of putting it is that, we love this club. Yeah, we don't hate the club. We don't want
I do.
We don't want all the ill and worse for this club.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, this management, this ownership, they want you to hate them. They do everything possible to really get people to turn against them. Yeah.
It's the only logical thing, dude. Like, it's the only logical thing, because if you think about it this way, right? And I was thinking about this, right? A lot of the steps that are being made, I think, are being done to purposely alienate, right, an awful lot of the older fan base, with the hope of attracting, the zero attention span simp type that exists on X and Twitter or whatever, right? Which is like, here's a shiny carrot. Look, ooh, here's Modric. Ooh, buy a jersey, buy a jersey, buy a jersey. I think it's just purposely. It's purposely
this
alienating.
Experiment works, Shane. The thing that they've experimented actually works. So they kicked out the curva, and they're going to see how many tourists can they get to fill the seats.
And it's working.
If you look at it from that perspective, yeah, it's working. I can sell jerseys. I can fill the stadium. I don't know what the data or the sales are for the corporate seats, but yeah, if you look at it in the face value, Verlaine can probably have a nice big web meeting with Cardinal and say that, hey, it's working. We don't need all these troublemakers.
Oh, it's great. And to be honest, dude, right? And look, I'm not pro or against the Curva, right? To be honest, I think there's an awful lot of good things that they bring to the atmosphere when they're there, right? And there's a lot of passion, right? But it's also the negative thing, and I'm not going to start weighing into the politics of it. But the fact is you're essentially throwing away any remainder of authenticity that's at the club now, you see. Because there's nothing left.
Yeah, I have to agree, and especially with the Curva, and I have to commend them. This is something that if you look at everyone who's active on Instagram or social media can actually compare how this club is supported compared to clubs, for example, in other leagues. In other leagues, so the tifo, the creativity, the atmosphere, it's not all down to the Curva. Yeah, I think everyone knows that.
No, it's definitely not.
But you can say that they have a share in that environment, yeah, and the things that they do. And you're right, yeah. Nothing can excuse illegal behavior, whatever allegations have been thrown around. That just doesn't help anyone. But as a fan going to the stadium,
it's a very convenient
you enjoy
excuse,
the atmosphere.
That's a very convenient excuse to get those corporate seats.
Yeah.
See.
Gotta make your money somehow, right?
Yeah. Fuck this club. Okay, right. Yeah, so again, right. Yeah, just to confirm, so we basically beat a Serie B team. That essentially means in Twitter logic, we're now going to go on and I actually seen a tweet. So when a guy was glossing about our midfield this season, he actually turned around and said we can now win the Champions League this season.
How about winning the World Cup while we're at it?
We'll win the World Cup as well. Might win the Premier League or the MLS. Like, this is the type of people we have now.
Let's win the Euros while we're at it. Let's win the NBA. Let's win the NBA.
Let's the NBA. So basically, they've turned on FIFA for the first time. What's FIFA called now? It's not called FIFA anymore. Hasn't you know this?
EAFC, I think, yeah?
EAFC. So they turned on EAFC. Fuck it, I'm still calling it FIFA, right? So they turned on FIFA, right, about a month ago. And now, they've become Milan fans because they like the colors, right? And so now it's like essentially it's great because they're optimal for Ferlani to sell to, right? To sell all this shit and fucking merchandise to, because at this point, if you know about football, and I don't know much about football, but I know enough about how people work, right, and life experiences and all that. So we know we're getting lied to, but it's the guy that thinks we can win the Champions League this season, right? He's the guy that's gonna buy merch. So, well done, bravo! You've done it. Like there's nothing else to talk about, man. Anyway, dude, let's rattle on to the Cremonese game. So, did you watch it last night?
Yeah, I watched the replay.
Did you?
That hurt. If you ask me, that hurt. So
I loved it because it confirmed my bias. It confirmed my bias that Pavlovic is the worst defender that we have.
He's not a defender. Established. Many people have known for a while now. He's actually not a defender. He's not a defender. He's not an attacker. He's definitely not midfielder.
He's the Balkan Baresi, wasn't he? He was born for this. Right, so basically, very soft marking. Basically, are the an awful lot of the people spouting shit about how good our midfield was. They conveniently disregarded the fact that our defense was junk last season. So, I mean, we had Gabbia, Tomori, and Pavlovic in the back three last night. Tomori's dropped off consistently dropped off since this, the Scudetto winning season, right? You've Gabbia, who I think Gabbia is serviceable. I don't think he's world class. I think he's serviceable. And I think if you put like a proper experienced defender like we had with Kier, the guy that we let go for free, basically, he wanted to continue with the club for another season, and instead Forlani decided to junk his contract and get in fucking Pavlovic. That guy, if you had him alongside Gabbia, would have somewhat of a hope, right? But Jesus fucking Christ, doesn't he? Like, the marking on Pavlovic last night. Any time I see him with the ball, do you know what I mean? Doesn't look comfortable on it. Just not an intelligent player. Like, absolute junk. Like, all of the reasons why I dislike Musa is the same reasons why I dislike Pavlovic. Just not a football player.
Yeah, so my thoughts on Pavlovic, and just to add in something, some facts surrounding your statement about bringing Pavlovic for Kier. It was not just Pavlovic. We signed a number of defenders in that window. I think it's just like the one that apparently stuck was Pavlovic, because we had, what was that kid, Terracciano, I think his name was all, yeah.
Terracciano was more for Teo's backup, wasn't he?
Yeah, but the way that I saw it is that they started to throw everyone in every single position, right?
Yeah.
Even Musa could do right back. So, it was confusing to say the least.
Well, then we had Chow. We also
Yeah.
had Chow as well, right? So that was another one. Yeah, the guy that went to Newcastle.
Yeah, so Chow. So the way that I see it for Pavlovic is that he's not meant to be there.
No,
But when you sell Chow and you don't replace him with, I hope, a better defender, because Chow wasn't that great as well. This was going to happen. And what this reminded me a lot about is that what happened against Chelsea. So Kobis was shoehorned in at the last minute. And I feel sorry for, he's not a kid anymore. Yeah, so I think he's just over 20 years old. But, taking that red in that sort of game doesn't do wonders. I understand why he wants out. The same thing for Pavlovic. I don't think he's meant to be there, but there's no one else left that Allegri can put on it. They haven't really replaced Chow in a big way. So yeah, this is bound to happen. And what I
but
said
the thing
about
is, like, even if you look at the trajectory, right? You're putting in Kubas against a good squad.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is unless you're something very special, right, you're probably going to fuck up. But the thing is, Kubas doesn't have to be special to be better than Pavlovic. So vis-a-vis, right, this is kind of a game that Kubas could fucking play. You see, because he's playing against low-level opposition. Guaranteed they're better than us because they beat us, right? But like when you're playing against low-level opposition, surely that's a game where you can say, right, let's test the kid. I don't know if I
But
dropped
then
out
again,
there.
Shane, with this management is that no one's willing to take a chance. And we ask for it each time, yeah?
No, they take chances, dude, but there's no sense in the chances that they make. Like, it's kind
that's
of
true.
putting on kids against, like, the Chelsea B team, right, is better than our A team, and you're putting on a kid against Chelsea.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, if you talk about the the efforts that his management could take, and if you knew Chow was possibly heading for a sale, why is it that we couldn't really make a big push to really try and get Simic to stay? We need, we had options. The timing, I mean, all this. Okay, but I know this is digging in the past quite a bit. But at no point did we say that we short options. We didn't need to be in this situation. And
well, no, but the thing is, we do though, because you see, that's Moneyball. Moneyball is basically get in the player for cheap, right? Make a couple of million on him. Doesn't matter if you sell him for half of what he's worth. That's not really relevant. What matters is that you sell him for more than you get him in for, right? But like,
not much more, but try to pass it off as being a genius. And guess what? To top it off, don't replace him. That's the best part of it. Don't replace him.
That's it. Like, and and another moment from the game last night, like, and there's other people going on about, well, Pavlovich did come up and score a goal. And it's like, again, going back to my McDonald's or Burger King analogy, right? It's like, let's say you own a Burger King or a fucking McDonald's, right? Right? And let's say you hire an accountant, right? And the accountant's shit and he's fudging the numbers, right? But he can flip a burger. That, you don't put him to work in, that's not good. You hire a new accountant. Do you know what I mean? It's like this fucking guy, right? It's fair dues to him, right? He got a header, right? And he scored a goal. That's great. But the thing is, that's very gung-ho, right? And the only reason he went up and did that was because he got the team in shit in the first place. And he was consistently doing it all of the first fucking half. It's like, I think... So I remember when we used to be good, and remember when we used to have a player called Franco Baresi, right? And anytime that Franco Baresi went forward, right, he used to do it with elegance, right? And it was dangerous because he was a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal player.
He's
Right.
still there, Shane. Maybe he can pull on jersey again.
Right.
Maybe he's got
And-
another 2 good games left in him.
And it's like Pavlovich thinks he's that. It's like random rushes of blood to the head, right? There's no logic in anything he does. He just fucking bursts forward, dude. He's a detriment to the team. Like, I mean, I don't know how Allegri isn't fucking basically saying you're never playing for this club again. Because if you're making
That goes to my other point, is that, and I'm sure many of you have thought about this. Is Allegri really in charge?
No, he's not.
We've seen it before with other coaches. Yeah, he's
not.
just the coach, right? You just, whatever player I'm going to give you, you got to make do with it. Anything happens, it's your fault.
So
This is what this club is about.
Fahadinho had raised this, right? It was on the chat. Shout out as well, basically, if you want to get onto our group chat, WhatsApp group chat, just ping us on X, what is it, Insta, Hosni, Milanese 360. So Fahadinho had shouted this out in the group chat. It was or was it John? I can't remember. Sorry, it's because I was prepping the slides for the pod. But anyway, whoever shouted it out, thank you. Right? But apparently, so Allegri has gone for a 2-hour meeting with management today to basically figure out what the fuck is going on after the Boniface deal. So there's already like problems there, right? So we're not even into September.
Yeah, it's the first game. Yeah.
And so we did say, right, will Allegri last 6 months? So it's like, we're here, right? Like this isn't and this isn't being negative for negative sake, but the thing is Allegri, whatever all of his faults and the regressive football and everything like that, right? Allegri knows how to fucking win. Right? So the thing is if he's in a situation, dude, where he's basically going, you brought me back to the club here and you're not even facilitating me with a serviceable striker as a backup, like,
just thinking about that, yeah. So if the rumors are to be believed,
shout out, thanks Fahadinho. Sorry, dude. Yeah,
sure. If the rumors are to be believed, Allegri wants Vlahovic, and even if the club could afford Vlahovic, I don't think they would say
no, they wouldn't.
Yes to Vlahovic,
Not
because they
wages.
don't want to give Allegri a single ounce of an idea to say that he has any say in how this club is being run.
Dude, they won't, and it's going to be the same thing with Rabiot as well.
Yeah.
Because the thing is what they also don't want, Hosni, and this is more I wouldn't say that they'd say it because of malice towards Allegri as such, right? I think what this is more so we don't want to pay high wages to players. So they're not going to
sustainable.
It's sustainable for everyone else in the league. It's not sustainable for us.
Oh, it's sustainable for management. I mean,
it's sustainable.
The salaries have to come from somewhere.
Exactly. Like we do have the highest paid, board level downwards, Like, those guys, they're the highest paid in Serie A, but when it comes to actually playing for the on-field talent, all of a sudden then, ooh, can't afford that. Like, because this is the thing, Vlahovic, the only way that Vlahovic would become a thing is if, how you say, if it's a situation where there is literally no one else left. There's no one else left, right? And they have to. And even then, like, they'd have to basically hope and pray that he do something creative with his wages, because they're not going to pay his wages. That's too much risk for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's not happening. And the thing about Vlahovic, and maybe on the footballing side, I may have to agree with this a little bit. Vlahovic hasn't shown me anything recently, in recent years, to show that he's back to the old Fiorentina Vlahovic.
That's perfect for us. It was just like Jovic. Yeah. Jovic was the same way. And they still took a punt on Jovic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
this is the thing, dude. We don't get... Like, can you remember under this ownership, right? Who was the last, like, or anyone in the chat even, right? Who was the last player that they got, right? That you could say you were excited about? And because basically, and people are going to pick the easy answer, right? Which is Modric, right? I get, but Modric is, I mean, he's 40 years old, right? But like, outside of Modric, right? Name one player that this management have gotten that made you excited. And if before anyone says Pulisic, right? Pulisic was, he was not exactly balling out at Chelsea when we took him. We knew the talent was there, but he's very injury prone. So I think we've lost Husney. Oh, there we go. We've gained Husney.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I was just asking the chat, basically, outside of Modric, right? Who was the last player that got you excited when we bought him?
Oof.
Under this ownership, basically. And here's the thing, though, dude, right? If you're going to say Pulisic, right, keep in mind, while Pulisic, everyone knew Pulisic had it in him to be good, right? There was an awful lot of fucking doubts about it.
No, here's a Maldini target. So that name has been in our orbit for quite a while. Who would I say? I know your chat's going to massacre me for this, but I really wanted João Felix to work out. I really wanted it to work out.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any player that we get. Because, like any player that we get, I genuinely... Like, as much as I hate what's going on, I want every player that they buy to absolutely ball out. Because that'll make the club great. Every player. But the thing is they're working with this Moneyball bullshit, right? It's so toxic that you're not guaranteed. If in fact, it decreases the chance that you'll find a player like that. Like,
but Shane, we're not doing Moneyball anymore. This is not Moneyball. Look at what happened with the Jashari deal. This is not Moneyball. This management is clueless. If you're Moneyball, you don't pay these games, you don't wait around, and you don't end up paying what the club wanted, what the selling club wanted from the very beginning.
True. But then, you'd wonder, because the thing is you know that you're never going to receive any kind of confirmation from this ownership as well. So even if they junk Moneyball, they'd never ever mention that they're junking it. They just quietly do it. Do you know what I mean? Speaking of Moneyball, right? So another guy who shone last night, Fofana. I mean,
I have to ask, and in the chat, if you guys happen to know, how is Fofana inside the French national team?
Is he?
I don't get it. Yeah, he is. Or is he on his way out? I don't get it, but he's in the team,
Are you sure it's not that weird? So Fofana was in the French team before, but he wasn't in the proper team. You know, the Olympic team.
No, but he's, I think, in the regular
Is he in
team.
the proper, like, the proper is in we're going to whatever the World Cup and we've called up Fofana. That team.
Apparently so. In the Nations League, I think he was called up as well. So
That's
I really have to
surprising.
wonder how. But what I do remember about Fofana, and this is, trying to take the positives of, performances that have long passed.
Mm.
He knows he has at moments made some nice incisive passes, forward passes, but I think he's lost it. Yeah. So yeah, we've had this club has had a history of buying players that were, you could say, well established in the national teams, and through their performances in this club have lost their spot and have begun their steady rot. So I do fear for Fofana quite a bit because, yeah, he's based on what I've seen him do when he first joined. Okay, the first few games he wasn't great, but afterwards I thought he was quite
He
solid.
was
So
he was he was dependable, but like to say that if he's struggling with Allegri's tactics, but like the thing is, this is what are we 2 months in that they've had with Allegri now?
yeah, I think it's been a while. Yeah. So, and
Like
what surprised me a little bit for this game is that we were playing a 3-5-2. I had thought with the entire preseason and with a lot of the news that was circulating that we would be going for the 4-3-3.
so what they do is they swap it out. So they kind of do, but they combine the two, right? So it just
Yeah,
depends on it depends on the phase of play that it is. But like
but we've seen how this team reacts when you try to tamper the formation.
you
So it
see,
happened to Conceição. Do you remember we did the 3-4-3 and everyone was hailing it? Oh, this is the magic formation. We're gonna get back in the Champions League places using a 3-4-3.
sorry,
Two
dude.
games, we will figure it out.
Can you give me 1 minute? I
Yeah,
just
no
need to
problem.
step away for sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem. So that was Conceição's tactics. Now, okay, 3-5-3, maybe we're going to 4-3-3. I don't know what is it with this team, but we just don't seem to be responding to these tactical changes. Yeah, but I guess we don't have the right players or we don't have the right way of managing this change. So that's a bit of a letdown. This is something that did confuse me a little bit because of how we were organized. I mean, if we were really doing the 3-3-5-2, Pulisic in the front of the two, okay, I don't see that, to be honest. But yeah, the results speak for themselves. What a loss that we faced. So yeah, let's go into these things with the chats. Yeah, Fadino, plan is to buy 2 strikers now. If For those who are aware, apparently Jimenez, our striker, our record striker for January signing, is not fully fit somehow, but still okay to play.
I
Really
just
not effective at the front. Yeah.
there's a thing I just want to comment on about Jimenez is why I'm not being like harsh on Jimenez after last night. So the thing is that Jimenez, you can tell he's unfit. Because the thing is you could tell even last night he was unfit, right? Because he was basically just too late getting to the ball, or he wasn't in the place when the ball was getting played in, right? That's not a sign of a bad player. That's a sign of a player who's off the pace. But the thing is with Jimenez, though, I too many tacos. I don't know. Like what the hell? What the hell have you been doing for the last month? Can someone
Yeah,
confirm? Did you play
and
with Mexico or?
the second goal, Shane. I'm sorry. I know it's harsh. I'm pinning that down to Jimenez.
Yeah,
Lost the ball.
it's
I
fine.
know defensively it was also a disaster. The marking is shit.
Yeah,
But Jimenez to lose the ball like that, I don't think anyone in the team expected it. And the
fair.
follow-on reaction was terrible as well.
That's fair. That's fair. I think, but I still see a player in Jimenez.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you see the goals
I
that he scored, just a few months ago, no doubt,
that's it. And
the
like
quality is there.
you know, and again, it's like it's the little things, right, that you notice, because it's like, I mean, he scored. Look, last night, I know it was offside, right? But the thing is, that was a good touch, and he took that really well. Again, he was offside, but when he's match fit, he won't be offside. You know what I mean? So it's like
This is
I
the problem,
think
Shane. When he's match fit, 8 other players are not, probably not, or 10 other players are not.
yeah. I know. I think there's a serious player in Jimenez, Nico. I think there's something there. There's something there. Yeah. Clip this because it could be a disaster. But anyway, also another guy that didn't cover himself in glory last night. So the cheeks. So again, we've had long enough now with Loftus Cheek, right? I kind of mentioned this on a few chats, right? But if and this is no slight to Torino, I know historically they were once an important club, but they're not anymore. But if I seen the likes of Pavlovic and RLC lining up for Torino, I'd go, that's kind of their level. You know what I mean? It's kind of just not really serious. Don't really. RLC is a prime example of this. Doesn't really read the game very well, I find. He's just very much an EPL player. Just get the ball, run with it, see what you can do. But the thing is, we're not playing in the EPL anymore. He's playing in Serie A, right? And it just comes across.
With a Allegri ball.
And it's with a Allegri ball, right? And it just comes across as kind of desperate. I think maybe the plan with getting him in was to try and make us this kind of quasi EPL team in the Serie A, and it's going to be really exciting because we're going to lead the way with all these physical players that aren't really playing football. They're just running around the fucking pitch like you do when you're 13 and 14 years old in the schoolyard. But he's a symptom of Redbird, basically. There's nothing, not a serious player. Like, to say that he's still here as well, and let us not forget, right? I mean, his injury record has not been great. He was injury prone
Yeah,
when he came to us, right? But like, he's been fucking out of action so much, like.
indeed. And I do want to touch on a topic here is that so we lost TG to Manchester City.
Mm.
Shout out to TG for a good first game, but apparently not a great second game against Spurs. But this is how this management chooses to replace such players. Tijani, if you ask me, he's good, but I wouldn't really call him great. But definitely better than
Rangers.
RLC. Yeah, Rangers.
So
Uh,
it's a shame. I think. So my feeling with Rangers was, if times were better, I think he would have been respected a bit more for the good player that he was. See, the problem is now is people are so anti Redbird for obvious reasons. I think any player that they buy is kind of lumped in with that, right? Um, I think he was a good player. He's one of the better players that they bought in. He's gone to Man City, right? So he's doing something right with his career. He's gone to a big club from a small one. So
yeah,
shout out.
and I think he's a standard. I mean, he's quite fixed in the starting lineup for the Dutch national team, which is a good national team.
And he's, and let's be honest, right? I mean, he played nearly every game for us last season.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like you can see there was a couple of times where he didn't look mentally fit, right? Like he wasn't there. But like, I mean, that's to be expected when you're getting run into the ground for Redbird, right?
Exactly. Every single game.
So it's like, I think people are very harsh on him. I think he's I don't know. I'd have to wish him the best because, again, like, if, let's be honest, guys, we're Milan in 2025. We're no longer a big club. It is what it is. So if a player gets to go to Man City, wish him all the best. I hope he wins stuff, as much as I hate Man City.
Yeah, for those questioning the transfer fee, because that's essentially what you're going to get for ending up in 8th place. Man City shopping from a mid-table club.
It's a
You can't
mid-table
really
club.
command. You
It's a
can't really
mid-table
command high
club.
prices.
If we were in the Champions League, guaranteed that fee would have been bigger. Because
Yeah.
it would have been like, well, fuck it, okay, that's fine. You want to buy our player, but we're in the Champions League. We're going to have to, quote unquote, compete, right? So yeah, but again, you can see how teams very quickly, it becomes this destructive cycle of you can't really offload players for what they're worth because the overall team, the performance has been shit and it's been below where it should have been. And then then it's like players don't want to come to you, which is how we ended up in the situation of our current Mercato. Yes, if you want to move on to that, Husney. So
Sure.
when I say I've done a slide, I've basically copied this from transfermarket.com. Brilliant site, especially when you're lazy like me. So you can basically see all our players in, including Alvaro Morata, because if you've been following the news, we basically did buy him back. We had to give Galatasaray a couple of million to take him back. And then I think he was sold to Como, no?
Yeah. Forced to be sold, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was that story that he actually didn't want to go. But then again,
Yeah.
they didn't really have a choice.
Also, fair point from Angelo Lauria. As bad as this ownership are, Angelo is a good point. If we were in the UCL, TG would not have been sold. That's also a valid point. Because as bad as they are, I think balancing books is the most important thing for them, right? And it's just the way that they did it. I could kind of see. As much as I hate them, and I never give them credit, I think the lack of Champions League football really changed them up a bit in terms of what they wanted to do. So we had Kaka and Pirlo's love child, Jashari, coming in from Bruges. Same bullshit cookie cutter playbook that they tried with Bruges from the first time, which was let's chronically undervalue the player, send in a bid for half of what he's worth. And then lo and behold, 2 or 3 months in, when Bruges tell you to fuck off consecutive times and start punting him off to the Premier League, you finally find the money. So yeah, we got Jashari in. What are your thoughts on Jashari, Hosni?
My expectations are low. I'm sorry, expectations are low. I still have nightmares from what happened with regards to CDK. I don't want to be harsh on the kid, but when you're coming in from that league, that team, at that price, more often than not, it doesn't work out.
No.
So
no. But
I'm a little bit disappointed. Maybe on some level, I hope it didn't work out so we can actually focus on a proven player. But yeah, this management, like you said, Shane, they like to play the games and they end up getting burnt. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't want to say commendable because I don't think it's correct, the behavior that he had with Bruges towards the end. But I do want to say that I will give the player some kudos because he did really try and push hard for the move to us specifically. So I think you can't fault his determination on that score. The problem is...
Well, apparently he had another offer, but then again, if I recall the news, he's linked to Newcastle as well. But think about Newcastle is that they got the money. So if he doesn't perform, he's going to get transferred very soon afterwards. With us, there's a lot of wiggle room.
It's also the flip side of the coin, though, which is like if he's going to do it to Bruges, right, for sure transfer, what's going to stop him doing it with us, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, it's like there's way bigger clubs out there now, right? So, I mean, if he balls out for a year, 2 years, and again, like I said, like the Man City come in for him, or Moneybags, PSG or someone, let's see how much he values the Milan shirt then, right? It's just that caveat. Ricci, what do you think about Ricci? Christina Ricci.
Yeah, so Ricci puzzles me a little bit. He was linked with us for quite a while, so he featured in the preseason quite a bit. But in this game, he was on the bench. I don't understand how this then works.
I don't think Allegri did either, to be honest.
Yeah, was it the wrong buy? Does Allegri not see him part of a starting lineup? Because we're playing like one game a week essentially. So the game against Cremonese should have been our best 11.
I think
every single week
it's.
needs to be our best 11. But
I
Ricci, not much fit. I don't know.
I think the way Allegri sees it is it's either Modric or Ricci in the middle.
But Ruben Loftus-Cheek, I mean, come on. I don't get it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if you're striving for a balance, maybe there's something to it, but at the end of the day, it's like Jesus Christ. Yeah, I like Ricci. To be honest, he's one of the guys that's impressed me, so far. Obviously, Modric is, he's world class, right? But he's also, you know, let's just say tempering expectations here because you only got him for what, another year, maybe two.
Yeah, and I don't know if okay, Modric is something to say. I'll speak of Modric later. Then. Fine.
So Coney de Winter, Genoa, 20 million.
I don't know much about the guy. I think well he knows the league, so he can't be that bad. But if I remember, Genoa they didn't finish too far away from us, so that's really not a good sign.
Yeah.
And for 20 million, I don't know. I feel that we can take advantage of. I mean, for an unknown player, if you ask me, unknown, yeah, maybe those who have watched the Genoa games more often than I have, or know how this guy plays, might value him as such. But I'm not seeing it. But I don't know how I need to read up a little about it whether he's considered maybe as a homegrown talent, how long he's been in Italy, maybe he was with the academy.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, RIP Royale. I mean, that was some great business that we did, actually getting someone to pay money for Royale. I mean, Jesus Christ. Uh, it's great business there. That he's obviously out. He's gone to Brazil. Sao Paulo, I think. Or is it Flamengo?
Flamingo, I think, yeah.
Flamengo. Yeah, I wish Royale the best because it just shows you don't have to be a footballer to become a professional footballer.
Yeah, and we're at the point now where we have to be grateful that these players want to go, right? I mean, can you imagine,
Yeah.
for example, like Origi, like these players, they dig in the heel and say that, oh, I have a contract here, I'm gonna write it up because it's as good as it's gonna get.
I think the news with Origi though, the news with Origi is that they're trying to get him they're trying to buy out the remainder of his contract. So, God bless him.
Well, he's been doing nothing. I don't know why this wasn't even explored from last season or 2 seasons ago. This match was late on everything.
Yeah, it's either that or they kind of go, okay, guys, we're not going to get in Vlahovic or who's it, Hoyland. Meet our new backup striker, Origi, and Origi comes in about fucking 30 pounds overweight, eating too much pasta on his trips around Italy. Thing is,
But
I'm saying that as a joke, but it could happen.
It's puzzling how these things actually happen because even when Futuro of like last season, yeah, they brought in that signing. I think he was a striker, but he was quite old. He's about over 30. Okay,
Yep.
I'm also over 30s, but for a player, he's quite old. I don't know what is the legalities behind the fact that why couldn't Origi have actually done that job? He was still paying his salary. I mean, can a player really refuse to play or something like that, or you just want to take zero chance of this guy?
I think, yeah, it seems like they've laid down some line somewhere, and it's obviously been crossed. So, anyway, yeah, so Coney de Winter again. I'm not super excited. I think anytime I've seen Genoa play, it'd stick with me if I remember seeing him and going, "Oh, that's a serviceable player." I never thought that whenever we were playing Genoa, so I don't know. So Estupinian, Teo's
I
report.
never, yeah, I never expected this, but let's put this in the greater context, and everyone knows this.
Hmm.
Theo, one you could say of the most. Well, he hasn't won that much for this, but yeah, he's won the Scudetto and the Super Coppa with us. So he's decorated a little bit, and yeah, he made the finals of the World Cup with France. You're replacing that guy. I know the money from Saudi League was undeniable, and Theo probably didn't want to renew or I guess couldn't be bothered. I knew his performances were not great last season, but then again, who was great in that team, right? But replacing him with S2, how do you pronounce his name? S2Pinan.
Estupinian, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a major downgrade. Yeah, even in the game, seeing the highlights yesterday, I know he had the assist, but everyone's going to keep thinking about Theo. Everyone's still going to keep
So,
thinking about Theo.
so here's the thing, right? You know, I love Teo. He's like my Milan boyfriend, and he always will be, right? Because I get the dude. He's like my spirit animal, right? But here's the thing: you're not replacing the Scudetto winning season, Teo. You're replacing a very, very ineffectual Teo for the last 2 seasons, right? So it's easier to replace. But the second thing as well, I want to say in Estupinian's favor, I think he's serviceable, man. I think, like there was once or twice in that game yesterday, so he got the assist, right? But he put in some good balls as well. And it's like if we had a
He
fit
did, but
striker on the end of him.
let me ask you, Shane. Um, so in a 3-5-2, he's playing on the left hand side, right?
Yep.
And I'm coming back to the point about how we're essentially playing our best 11 each week in, week out. Is
I
he
don't
really better than Jimenez? What do you
I
think?
don't well see the thing is I don't think we're playing our best 11. I don't think Allegri knows what his best 11 is.
Okay, the fact that he has preseason and season training like so often. If he doesn't know, I'm even more worried than I was a few moments ago.
So shout out Matteo. Estupinian looked buns last season. Yeah, I'm just saying, dude, like it what I'm saying is kind of well, even though so if you say well he's there to replace Teo, he is, right? But he's not replacing Teo, the beast that was Teo. He's kind of replacing Teo that's checked out, right? And again, I know despite all my earlier shit about we're accepting mediocrity and all this, I think it's less of an ask to replace Teo from last season. I think Estupinian low key, I think if he, can retain fitness and maybe get more involved, I think a couple more assists, he starts changing opinions about people, starts changing opinions that people have about him. I'm low key excited. That's the way I feel about Estupinian. Zachary Atekame.
Don't know who this kid is, but yeah, I mean, for 10 million, I think they're just looking to spend money, just fill up a space. But for a right back position, and I saw it a lot in the times that we were actually quite decent. Uh, Kubis is actually more of a right back, but then again, yeah, he's a big bulky guy, so he's not the kind of guy to charge up the wing. I had thought this is the reason why we had Salad, by the way. So is he
Yeah, but
backup to Salad? I
but
don't know.
keep
Jimenez can
in
do both
mind,
roles, by the way.
Jimenez can, but he's not that good on the right, I think, is he?
Okay.
But there's also that thing. Keep in mind that they also got rid of Captain Underpants Calabria as well, right?
Yeah, Fabregas
So
busy playing Europe now.
yeah, but we had who did we have go? So we had Royale go, and then you had who else? Kyle Walker, right? So those two were kind of fighting for that position last season. So the thing is it's probably going to be who at
But
the camp.
Musa can do the job. Wink.
That's the thing.
Musa's done right back. Come on.
Yeah, that's another problem with the club. I mean, if some club offers you more for Musa than you paid for Musa, you take that. If you're not, you're just not. I don't know where the fuck you're at, to be honest. Matteo, though, Teo fell off, so it's a best of wash, which is in progress. But that's the thing, Matteo. I agree with you there, right? It's not. We'll never see progress under Redbird. You'll never ever see, unless it's a fucking miracle, right? You'll never ever see a player go out and a player of better stature come in to replace him. You just won't. That's what Moneyball is at its core, right? Modric was an outlier, but again, Modric is what he's going to be 40. So I mean, but again, that's what Moneyball is. We're never going to replace. Like you're never going to get rid of Teo and then get in a world class player. Like it's just the way it works now. This Athekame, I don't know. I mean, I know he used to play for Young Boys. I know Young Boys play at the Wankdorf. So that's pretty much, yeah. So Young Boys play at the Wankdorf. That's true. So very interesting club. Yeah, that's all I got. Alvaro Morato, who cares? He's gone to Como. Modric, all right. Hosni, what do you do?
Yeah, well, Modric, I want to really credit. I mean, let's put his age aside, yeah. So everyone knows that he's one of our most senior players.
Yep.
But Modric in Real Madrid, and we saw it even yesterday. Even in Real Madrid, he wasn't just any Real Madrid player. He was critical to the Real Madrid team. So that's the sort of caliber that we have here. It's just that age is definitely on the side. But even if he had been like 4 years younger, we couldn't have afforded him. So we got to thank the father time a little bit that he's just serving out his retirement and able to give us some decent performances. And I thought the game yesterday he was by no means terrible. Yeah,
No,
compared
he
to
wasn't,
a
and
lot.
he's.
Yeah,
But it also shows at some point like how much better he is than the players around him. Because there
yeah,
was a couple of passes there, right, where you could see like the intelligence of the player, like to make that pass, right? Because he doesn't have players of like similar quality around him. They're just getting like lost.
yeah. You're right, Shane. So he's used to playing at a high level, and he was even at a high level one of the highest at that level. But then you're right. When the frequency of everyone else is like, as Kyle Walker put it, we're not Messi there. This is what you're going to have to be afraid of because you keep playing with that level, you're going to have to become accustomed to that level at some point, right?
Wait a second. Sorry. Hi, AJ. New commenter. I don't think we've seen you before. Nice to meet you, man. AJ, has anyone seen the Allegri post-match interview? He called the match result expected.
What else can he say?
We expect to lose against Cremonese. Milan. How do you answer that? How how?
But I, I don't know. But how do you remember like the rumors at the beginning to say that there was some beef between Conte and De Laurentiis, right, for Napoli, and we might be in the running to get Conte. So Allegri is not the worst choice. Definitely, he's not the worst choice. We could have probably gone for another nobody.
Oh, hold on,
Uh,
AJ, with another fucking gem of information here. This is good. CBS, so CBS in the US, I'm assuming, right? I don't know if they're anywhere else, but yeah, CBS has edited out the pre-match and post-match analysis of the game. Cardinale seems uncomfortable. I wonder if that's what
well,
the 2 hour meeting was today then. So anyway, just to recap, right? So there's been a 2 hour meeting between Allegri and our overlords today.
well, he can't be sacked after the first game, right?
I would hope. I would hope in a fucked up way, right? Like it's kind of like a Joker situation where you just want to see the world burn, right? It would give me a lot of enjoyment, right, if Cardinale loses the plot and then sacks Allegri, because then you will know that he is a fucking jackass. Well, everyone knows he's a jackass, but the fact that if he sacked Allegri after one game, it doesn't get any worse than that. You see, it's like that's the level where you're just everyone knows what you are now.
Would it be surprising? I mean, he's willing to sack coaches. Never going to sack any member of management. I mean, who is he going to pin the fault on? Maybe Tario might be the first member of
I
management to get
think
sacked.
I think
Yeah,
Tara is the first to go. I think
yeah.
the Tara is the sacrificial lamb. That's why he was hired. I think Tara is basically his that blanket between the upper management and the fans that basically says if we don't get Champions League this year, Tara can go, but there won't be any changes outside of that.
Yeah, there you go. And at that point, we'll probably find out how interesting his deal will be structured. Maybe it's like a 6 month plus 6 month kind of deal. Say that, don't worry, we didn't lose that much money.
That's it. That's it. If you last longer than a year, we'll start paying your salary. Until
Something
then,
like
you're
that.
working for free. Pietro Terracciano, Fiorentina keeper, was bought in as the replacement for Sportiello, who went back
I
to
don't
Italy.
understand that saga. Do you happen to know what saga? Something about having to do the swap, the switch. What Sportiello doesn't want to play? Does Sportiello think that he can be a regular starter? I don't get it.
I know Sportiello is such a fucking legend that the man can be stuck in a hotel room and somehow glass his hand to the state that he needs reconstructive surgery on it. That level of self-destruction, I completely agree with and I admire because I have that. But like Jesus Christ, how do you do that? Like, as a professional keeper,
At least take care of your hands, right?
what are what are you doing alone in a hotel room that you damage the ligaments in your fucking hand? Like,
All I can think of is probably playing that drinking game. You know, where you put the knife and you try to like get in between
must
your
be.
fingers and all.
Must be. And that's like Calais, or that's Teo Calabria would have instigated that. Oh, shit. All right, good. Yeah, that's done.
The
All right.
potatoes already.
I said, yeah, how did you know? All right, nice. Irish 101 have potatoes on a Sunday. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Terracciano, who cares? It's just more mediocrity. It kind of goes back to what Matteo said earlier. It's kind of getting rid of mediocrity and then just bringing in more mediocrity. So shout out to Angelo speaking facts here. So Furlani is protected by Elliot and the Singers. Furlani is Elliot and the Singers really at this point. Is
I
their
mean,
eyes
for
ears in the club.
those in the chat, don't you aren't you envious of such people that you can be in a job that you're like untouchable, you can make as many mistakes, do absolutely nothing, and still keep your job? I mean, that's amazing, you know, an amazing way to live.
Only politicians and Redbird employees have that luxury. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like fuck
those
me.
picked by Jerry's hand.
Fondled by Jerry in ways that they wanted. So it just goes back to our last. This goes back to our last. Here we go. Fabrizio Romano. Here we go. Boniface to Milan. It's now official. It's official that it's not going through.
Here we don't go.
So here
Someone
we
call
go,
out
Josh.
Fabrizio Romano.
Oh dear. Romano. Didn't Romano get caught out? This is twice it's happened with Romano now. There was another
No,
player that.
but credit to the band, he gets it more often right than he doesn't. Yeah, so I
Yeah,
would still
he does. He does. But
wager that he's on the spot with the money.
I mean, the
But yeah,
guy.
this
It's like
sorry.
he's already, he's proven that he's questionable kind of habits because I mean he supports Watford in the Premier League. So shout out now for Fabrizio Romano's good money throwing shade. Yeah, but so Boniface has been cancelled despite Milan Labs trying to probably, I don't know, give him whatever stimulants they could to get this player to walk again. Sorry, that's a joke.
They
It's
ran out of painkillers.
ran out of painkillers. Basically, so he's not going to be signed. So we're still looking for a striker, and word is there's going to be two. And just to go back again to Matteo's earlier comment again about more mediocrity coming in, the players that we'll get will either be loans or they'll either be players that we've never heard of, both of which will just be as ineffectual.
Yeah, but I'd say it's good. I mean, if he this was aborted to a medical test, let's give some credit to the doctor that he actually pointed it out. I mean, more often than not, we've actually we've actually signed players that have questionable fitness or more serious cases than this guy, right?
I like Matteo's comment here. This is great. I love this. Calabria goes from starting every match for us with the armband to sleeping on the bench on the beach in Lesbos in 1 year. It's tragic. He's now living the UK holidaymaker's dream.
But I feel bad for Calabria. He won the Scudetto with us. I mean, he was captain, been with the club for a long time, man.
He shouldn't have been
Essentially,
captain.
Conceição kicked him out.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been captain. He shouldn't have been playing. He was protected. He was always
Yeah.
very tragic, very ineffectual player. I don't know
So he
how he
never
lasted.
recovered from that injury after he won Scudetto. Yeah.
No, he's very much a Abate. He's very much an Abate type. Remember when Abate was playing Hosni like Abate when he was younger? Very exciting.
Yeah.
Came through solid. But Abate was still around for us in the banter era, and that's because no one else wanted to buy him. And it was because too many injuries. It was the same thing. It's a shame. But that's also why I got triggered when I seen Abate as the coach of our Primavera, because it was like, fuck.
Well, at least we know his heart's in the right place, right? I mean, he did well
Yeah.
for us.
He did. He did. And now his heart's in Lesbos. Drinking some ouzo or whatever the fuck it is that they do. I have to go to Greece. It's actually a thing that I have to jot on my fucking plan for next summer.
We need a Milanistas 360 reunion, yeah, with the guys in the chat. Whoever can make it, we got to plan something, I guess.
That's it. Let's make a plan for Lesbos. We'll go and see Calabria. There's one more just on the subject of panic windows, which we're essentially going into with the striker search right now. I just want to remind everyone how our last panic window went. So our last panic window would have been in winter last year. It was 2025, obviously. So this is our panic window. So we bought in Kyle Walker, Jimenez, Sotil, Bondo, João Felix, one of which is still with the club.
Bondo, we loaned him out, right? I don't think we sold him. Did we sell him?
But Hosni, you know yourself, he's never coming back.
Okay.
There's no 1 second. Yeah, he's never coming back, dude. He's literally, it's just going to be a situation where he's just going to be left to rot there now. But to be honest, he's had long enough to be able to prove himself, really. If he's not proven himself under Conceição, he's he's not going to be proving himself under what's his name? Allegri.
Oh, Shane, fuck me. I just Googled him. He's playing for Cremonese.
Yeah, no, he is. He was playing last night.
Oh, I completely it slipped my mind. What the hell?
Yeah, because he was playing last night because he came on because it was like I had because you know the way trauma does this to you, right? Trauma does this to you, right? So essentially what trauma does is, you know the way it's like the trauma response is you basically makes your soul want to shit itself and leave your body, right? So when I seen Bondo and Terraciano, who's also Cremonese, right? When I seen them tagging off to come on, I was like, fuck me, at least one of them is going to get an assist.
Yeah, you're right. It slipped my mind, completely slipped my mind. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what happens. Like, this is what happens, Milan, in 2025. Players play against us. And it's like, because
We're Cremonese. We're a feeder club for every other club, It's like, join us, we'll pay, we'll settle the fees, everything. Definitely not going to work out. A few months later, we'll loan him to you, loan with option, obligation, and take your time, decide what you want, or we'll take on the heat. Yeah, this is the sort of club that we are.
It is. But the thing is it's like all of our ex-players feel hard done by. Right? So all of our ex-players kind of seem to get this like resentment towards the club because they always show up against us and then disappear for the rest of the season.
You're right.
Do you know?
And we have the habit of buying players that do well against us, and then after we get them, then they don't.
Yeah, I know, but fuck it. It's Milan, man. It's Milan 2025, hasn't he? We deserve this. We do. I think I'm just going to think back to what I did in 2007. Deep introspection. Figure out whatever the fuck I did to offend the universe in such a way that it shat on me. So it basically made Milan, go the way it did. I must have done something really bad because anything after 2007 has just been pointless. I couldn't give a shit about the Serie A's. You know, it's just the Champions League days is ones I want to come back. Who gets sacked first, Tare or Allegri? AJ. So good question. Yeah, we'll cover this question because I need to eat and Hosni needs to sleep. So
Yeah.
okay, sorry guys. So AJ, just a quick question for Hosni: who gets sacked first, Tare or Allegri? Allegri.
This will be Allegri first. So the management have a slightly longer lifespan, but I think in the case of Tare, he's definitely expendable because he's not a handpicked person from Cardinales, gracious hand. So he's definitely the fall guy. But coaches they come and go. And if we talk about how many coaches we've had, and in last year we changed coaches twice. Now we are on to our fourth coach, and you could say just over a year. If you still recall Pioli being around for the last while. So yeah,
Ray.
it wouldn't surprise me if we keep that musical chair of coaches going.
Shout out Ray. New guy commenting, guys, on what match day will we start calling the Stupinian Stupido? It's already happening in my head. That's his until he hopefully if he balls out for us, which we never know if it'll happen. I'll never use his proper name. It's always going to be a Stupido until he shows up. Need to play a guessing game from Fadinho. From the new players, how many will last till January and how many will last till summer? To be honest, let's go 1 in 5. So pick one of the random new players that we bought. Probably one of them will be good enough to be in the squad next year. The rest will all be sold. And just a thing on AJ's question, I'll just change it around. So my answer will be, I have a feeling that Tare, I think his best intentions are with Milan. So therefore, I think he'll quit. I think he'll quit first, and then maybe 6 months later, Allegri's gone. So I think Tare is gone. If Tare lasts a year, I'd be surprised. But let's say a year, and then I think 6 months after that, Allegri's just going to go because he's going to realize what a shit show the club is. All right, that's all I got.
Okay, well, with that, thanks everyone for joining. So we've had quite a number joining us in the chat, and we appreciate your comments and questions. Again, if you do want to join our WhatsApp group, it's 100% free. Just drop us a DM on our Instagram or on YouTube, then we'll add you into the WhatsApp group. Great bunch of guys. I think we have over 20 members, I think. And as I keep saying, it'll change your life, maybe for the worse. But Milan-wise, maybe for the better. At least to give you a place to vent and for us to catch up a little bit more. But yeah, thanks a bunch. Fardino, Matteo, Ray, AJ, Max, I remember you were there. Nico, Angelo. Sorry if I missed anyone else out, but
Gunardi.
Kashavit, Gunardi, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us, and yeah, we welcome you to our episode. Hopefully, we will be doing this a little bit more often now that the season has started. We're not
Nico, would you actually pay money to listen to my inane, complete bullshit? If you say yes, right, I might start monetizing it. Okay. Okay, cool.
And yeah, we appreciate you guys for joining us, taking the time. So yeah, Shane, any closing comments?
Fuck Milan, what it's become in 2025. Let's just look forward to the good days when Redbird are gone.
Yeah, I hope that too. Well, Forza Milan, and yeah, join us for our next episode. Hopefully happening next week or very soon.
That's it. God bless. See you, everyone.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Che comunque il calcio è imprevedibile e le cose non sono mai scontate, quindi è anche la bellezza, no, di questo sport.
Io rappresentavo per questa squadra, era quello che non mollava mai, quello che doveva fare stare sempre su il morale, ma io mi ci trovavo bene perché sono sempre stato uno che mi piaceva dare fuoco ai miei compagni, caricarli prima delle partite.
Il mio sogno che si è avverato è uno dei sogni dei bambini, di tanti bambini.
Il gol è un qualcosa per la gente che riusciamo a fare diventare matti, riusciamo a fare diventare felici e contenti.
Con questa maglia devo veramente fare una performance